So I got a joke for you folks.
All right.
So St. Peter's been at the pearly gates of heaven for 2,000 years.
Stop talking.
And, no
Nobody
breaks.
can hear me. You're not talking.
And he's exhausted. And, he's there. And Jesus walks by and he says, "Oh, Jesus." And yes, Peter, what do you like? Oh, no, nothing, nothing. No, Peter, what's on your mind? No, no, look I'm the master. You tell me how, what's going on. He says, well, I've been here for 2,000 years. And I'd like just a break, just a half-hour break. Jesus said, a half-hour break? Take 3 days off and I'll fill in for you. So Jesus steps in for, St. Peter, and he's at the pearly gates, and there's a long line going to the horizon. And he has to see these people, inquire what their life was like on earth and everything. And it goes on, and in the distance, he sees this old man, with a cane, the white shock of hair and beard and everything, slowly making his way. But he doesn't dare kind of leave his post because people just go into heaven if he's not there by the door, the gates. And so eventually, after 3 or 4 hours, this old man comes, and there he is in front of Jesus. And Jesus says, old man, I would have liked to help you. I would have wanted to put you at the front of the line, but there was nothing I could do. What was your life like on earth? He said, well, I suffered a lot. It was a very difficult life. Well, what was your profession? I was a carpenter. Jesus brightens up a little bit. And, did you have any children? Well, I had a son, but he died very young. He was so dear to me and so dear to so many other people. Jesus kind of looking at this old man. And he had holes in his hands and feet. Jesus looks at the old man, says, Father, gives an embrace. The old man looks up at him and says, Pinocchio?
I didn't hear it. I just heard Father, and he gave him an embrace.
I didn't understand. Why did he call him Pinocchio?
And the old man says, Pinocchio?
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Hey, Jeff, I challenge you to a contest to see who can tell the worst joke, me or you.
Uh-oh.
I gotta think of a real bad one.
Yeah. So, no, well, let's see what
I have
Alan.
no joke tonight.
What's that, Alan? What do you got under the hood there?
What do I have under the hood?
Yeah.
Well, I was just reading some of this from The Voice. I don't know if you can see that.
The Village Voice? No.
No. Princess Machiavelli. Really, it just sort of struck me, even the first few paragraphs, because those, like, for example, through those who are receptive to this voice, I speak. And it kind of struck me, that's intuition.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then he says something, I in you do the removing work, leave it to me. And that was sort of in my experience today. I took a break and I was just sitting with Baba, and really I was like, I just was like, oh, I can't give you that. Like, again, I just can't give you, I couldn't possibly give you that part of me. And when I did, it was sort of kind of a, I don't know, like very, I don't know what the right word is. It was almost like a psychological but physical experience of feeling like this clay that was over me kind of cracked or something, and was actually given to him, and the thought forms that were attached to that person that I was letting go of really were let go of. It's possible. It's just like this there's so many parts of my mind that think, no, I can't do that, or that's not possible. It's not possible this time around, but it's not true. He says, I and you do the removing work. So that just struck me. Leave it to me.
Yeah, no, I know. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of get in the way, but of course, we're in the habit of getting in the way.
Right.
And the more we can get out of the way, Baba can do it a lot more quickly, for sure.
Yeah. And the importance of time, being a human being, we're not here just to like escape, just escape and kind of like wander off and just be in the clouds with Baba either. It's like Baba really wanted us to, like that's what he was, I don't know. To me, that was just like, it's sort of striking me like how important it is to do my daily life. And even though I'm working so much, so it really kind of today was like, well, who do you think put you there? Who do you think has placed you in every single one of these scenarios? It feels less of a drag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was, I don't know if I mentioned this, I'm trying to think if I mentioned this, but there was one follower of Baba named, one of his disciples named Chuggin Master. Did I mention this? I can't remember who I was talking to, but anyway, Chuggin Master was one of the Mandali. And back in the early 20s, all those days, you read about him, and throughout, he was with Baba his whole life. But back then, he was divorced, he was engaged to get married. And so he got married and he went off to this village, and he wasn't there as much. But he lived his whole life for Baba, and was, you see him in some of the movies and everything. But he was never really certain that he lived the life that Baba really wanted him to live. He didn't have that conviction until a friend of mine, Gil Alvarado, who was with him when he was dying there in 1972. And when he was dying, he realized that he had done everything that Baba had wanted him to do with his life. But he didn't get that conviction until the last moment. So he died knowing that he did, he did just what Baba had wanted him to do. And I think that we're going to have that same experience. We'll think, oh, I could have done more. I could have done this and done that. But I think we will know that we played the part that he wanted us to play.
Yeah, even if it seems like so minor or
or worldly, and
like I woke up and I looked at my phone, and then I was like, oh, all right. And then I have to wake up now. But then I realized I was having that thought, like, oh, I'm going down that same thing I usually do. And then I was like, I don't have to choose that.
Yeah.
That was, but it's so easy to fall into that, it's like I don't know.
Yeah, you don't want to jump on the first train of thought.
Yeah.
Right, you might wind up in Missoula, Montana, without any money.
Yeah, but no money in your pockets.
No, Darwin Shaw used to say, when you wake up in the morning. Whoops, I'm unplugged here. When you wake up in the morning, stay on the platform for a while with Baba before you decide what train you're going to take.
Wow.
Make sure the train you're on, the course of action, is the one that you really want to take. Because the mind will give you usually there's a beautiful thing from Rumi, and I was trying to remember it's a quote from him, but basically he says, hoist the sail of your boat and the breeze of his grace will carry you to harbor after harbor of beauty and wonder. But if you don't hoist up your sail, you will only drift with the tide of the world. In other words, a certain momentum has to be built up. If you just kind of are passive, you'll wind up, at Starbucks all day just drinking coffee.
That's really, who said that?
Momentum is very important because inertia is our default position. So, yeah.
Who was it that said that?
About the Rumi.
Rumi. Okay. Yeah. So I suppose that helps us in being. This is sort of a thought that came in. How, I was really like, Baba, how do I be? You keep saying, be detached. You keep saying, be in the world, but don't be of it. And it's like, well, how do I pay my bills? How do I talk to my boss? How do I, and I understand, but I just feel like I get so in it that it feels sort of like unnatural to try to be detached from it while I'm in it, because I have to be kind of somebody calls and they're really intense and I have to get something done because a major leak is happening or a fire and I got to make things happen, and if I don't speak with some authority, if I'm just like, well, that is part of Maya. It's like then it obviously, yeah, then I will lose my job today.
Yeah.
So,
No, I'm just speaking for myself. I've found that being wholehearted about what I do, I have the greatest detachment by being wholehearted. And what happens in being wholehearted, somebody may take the object of your wholeheartedness away, but then you can take your wholeheartedness and move to some other object or some other focus. They can't take your wholeheartedness away. They can take away the objects. So there's a detachment. Wholeheartedness gives you a detachment. In other words, get into what you're doing. I'm just talking about my approach. Get into what you're doing, hook, line, and sinker, and you'd be surprised if it all falls apart, you still have that wholeheartedness. It just can't be taken away.
right.
I mean, if you really value and protect it, and there is really I think of Darwin and Baba this is slightly different, but Baba and Darwin in the morning, cutting up a bunch of vegetables in this huge Teflon pan. And so he spends the whole day kind of dishing stuff out, from this pan. And at the end of the day, just turns the skillet upside down and nothing stuck, But, giving and giving and giving, but nothing really sticks to the pan.
Yeah.
But I mean, I might be wrong, but I've always found wholeheartedness rather than kind of an attitude of detachment, the kind of spiritual attitude. I think just getting into something. When you get into something, you can let it go and get into something else.
Makes sense, Jeff. I think detachment, I mean, just want to throw my 2 cents here.
Yeah.
It's basically doing something and not expecting anything out of it. And that's the detachment. I mean, the result obviously is left to whatever direction it takes. But like you said, the wholeheartedness will at least.
Yeah. And the wholeheartedness will enable you to do really something of a certain level of excellence. In other words, you're not so detached that you don't care what the garden looks like that you're creating. You really try to make a, great garden. But if a hurricane comes along and destroys your garden, well, you can do it again, make another one, or give that up and and go out dancing with Lanita, you know?
Something that used to work for me when, and my husband as well. My husband drove metro buses in Seattle for 12 years. That's a really, really hard job. And he had been all kinds of things. He was a brilliant man. And so it was like, one of the ways I saw Baba working through him was, here's this man who had the discourses on the bus. This was not his favorite job. And actually it wasn't something he was, you know, it was hard. But then I thought about it and I thought, well, wait a minute. Here Baba has him transporting all these people here and there. And he has Baba's hair with him. He has the discourses. And we don't know what Baba's doing.
Yeah.
We have no idea what he's doing. I'm looking at this, you know, somebody who loves Meher Baba, and he's transporting people all everywhere, wherever they're going. And one day, actually, when my son was young, he had a dream about it. And in his dream, we were sitting in a Denny's restaurant, and there's those big windows, you know, that go like that, big windows. And he saw my husband driving this bus with all these people in it, and he was going up into the sky. And all of a sudden, all the people fell out, and my husband just kept going, kept going up. But the other thing was, I served espresso for 14 years. And I don't know what I was doing, but I had Baba's hair under the espresso machine and try to take Baba's name. And with all these people that you deal with, you know, it's like remembering that this is Meher Baba, and you don't know and they don't know, but that love you have for him, you don't know what Baba's doing with you. I think it was something that Tina read too, was something about that, you know, how Baba takes that and he puts it where he wants to. But what I had to do was find meaning in little things, you know, things that seemed really mundane. You know, so anyway, that's what helped me.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You know, one of the things, well, does anyone else have?
Yeah, I wanted to just say,
Yeah, oh, Ruth, go ahead.
no, go ahead, honey.
Oh, I just think that if you read Baba's Wish every day, or at least once a week, and really look at that, and you think wholeheartedly and honestly, Baba has put me in this situation. Mm-hmm. And the other part, I've noticed that, you know, Baba, at the beginning of his wish, he says, do not shirk your responsibilities. Live in the world, but know all of this is Baba's. So you have to realize that in each and every person is Baba. You have to think, I'm talking to Baba. This is how would Baba want me to act, or how can I? Now, I'm not saying that he implements it all the time, but I'm just saying that, you know, his wish really does. It says it all.
Beautiful. Yeah, it was a little. It was a little breaking up there, but we.
I went outside. I'm sitting on the porch now.
Oh. I thought Marvin was opening up walnuts. No.
No, he's inside playing cards with boy. It was 98 degrees today.
Oh my God.
And it's maybe, yeah, it was really hot. Ouch.
Well, I just wanted to tell a little bit of an experience. I worked in a what's called cardiac electrophysiology lab. Some people might have experienced that if they have atrial fibrillation. But anyway, we used to bring patients in that had died and been resuscitated. And the way you'd have to see what medication worked was to start the arrhythmia in the lab, and if they went into this terrible heart rhythm and they died there in the lab, I'd have to shock them back. And so that was my job as the shocker. So we did this, a couple times a week or sometimes every day. And so these patients would be tested and they would have this terrible rhythm. And then I would talk to them until they passed out, and then I would shock them back. And I never lost a patient. But one day, this one patient, we didn't expect him to have this horrible heart rhythm, but he did. So I shocked him. And every time in the lab, this is the part I didn't tell you, every time in the lab when I would shock the patient, I would say, Meher Baba. I'd say it out loud, say Baba's name out loud, and shock them, and then they'd come back to life. Well, this one guy, I shocked him. I said, Meher Baba, and still had the terrible rhythm. So I charged and shocked again and said, Meher Baba. And he still was in the terrible rhythm. He was dead. He was dying. And so I pushed it the third time, and when I shocked him, I said, Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. And I shocked him, and he came back. He came back to life. So I guess for me, that was my example of wholeheartedness. The third time was completely wholehearted.
Yeah.
And, Baba showed me the difference. I mean, he showed me the difference. I went out to get lunch after that and was on the street walking to a lunch stand or something. And I felt like I was hovering above the ground. I was so up above my body from the experience and the gratitude, But anyway, that wholehearted thing.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Fantastic. Anyone else? This is kind of related to this too. I grew up probably like most of us, to use your talents and your abilities and everything to the best of your ability. And I mean, use your creativity and we're kind of brought up with that conditioning. Even society kind of puts that on us. But so I still had that when I wound up living near Darwin and Gene Shaw. And here was this man who was so eloquent, so centered, such a charisma, such a presence. And he had settled for just the low rung, one of the low rungs on the working for the city of Schenectady. I mean, he could have gone right up the ladder and become the mayor of Schenectady, New York. He could have done anything there. And he settled, I was very impressed. He went only about 2 rungs up to a place where he could earn his livelihood for his family and everything, and at the same time remember Baba. He wasn't tempted to go higher where he could have kind of forgotten Baba or, had so much responsibility that would have been hard to remember. So that made a deep impression on me. Wow, the object isn't to fulfill your potential. The object is to remember Baba, So that made I'm glad Baba sent me up there so I could see that I didn't have to live up to all the using my talents and everything. It probably prepared me for cleaning cabins down here. But amazing. But here's another thing that I've mentioned this before. I kind of grew up with an activist family. My parents had been communists during the 30s, during the labor movement in this country. And so I came out of that background. And so here I am just cleaning cabins, just domestic work with all my college education and everything. But I read in the discourses, Baba says, and it really helped me. Baba said that the master receives your song at the local level, spiritualizes it, and broadcasts it to the world at large. So that I feel is the greatest agency of change. So, whatever you're doing, if you're dedicated to Baba, even if all you're doing is pouring out espresso coffee to people, but you're dedicating to Baba, that gets universalized and goes out to the world.
Yeah.
It so that we don't have to be doing all of these things that potentially and using our talents that we need. You know, not that there's anything wrong with that, but Baba can use us, you know, doing doing the little things wholeheartedly. You know, yeah. I mean, Mansari said that Baba had told her that if I have one lover of mine in a city, that city is protected.
Wow. I wonder what he means by protected.
Well, I think that he could step in and eclipse his lover and do whatever he has to do in that city. He has a ground wire.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's not about doing big things, but doing, what was that line? Doing small things with great love.
Jeff, could you say that again? Baba takes our song and
He receives our song at the local level, spiritualizes it, and broadcasts it to the world at large.
thank you.
You know, the image I get is like a little garage band, and you come up with a song and you sing it and everything. And then you send it up to New York, and they do this fancy mixing, and then they send it out to all the radios in the country.
I kind of see fairy dust.
Hey, I literally just flipped to that part.
Oh, wow.
Versus little things that matter.
Uh-huh.
I just literally opened to that. Can I read a little bit?
The infinity of the truth?
Yeah, can I read just a little paragraph? So, the scope of service is not limited to great gestures like giving big donations to public institutions. They also serve who express their love in little things. A word that gives courage to a drooping heart, or a smile that brings hope and cheer in gloom, has as much claim to be regarded as service as onerous sacrifices and heroic self-denials. A glance which wipes out bitterness from the heart and sets it throbbing with a new love is also service, although there may be no thought of service in it. When taken by themselves, all these things seem to be small, but life is made up of many such small things. If these small things were ignored, life would be not only unbeautiful, but unspiritual.
Yeah, I know. No, it's really,
Great, Alan.
yeah.
Oh, that was a lucky draw. I just went like that.
Yeah.
There it is. It's funny. We were chatting late last night, and I think as a result of it, I had some pretty strange dream. But I woke up this morning and I almost called you, Jeff, saying, help! Help! So I wrote down my dream, and it's pretty strange, actually. I don't know if I'm...
Read it.
Okay. Allow me to, for a moment, pause this baby here. I'm going to pause the recording. Wherever it went. Okay, there.
You know, a beautiful thing.
Well, you know, I dreamt of Baba a few weeks ago. Oh, I'm
Ah.
sorry. I had a dream about Baba a few weeks ago, Jeff.
Yeah.
After arti, after doing these artis, and I don't know if you had heard this, but so I was having, well, first of all, I was having my spine buzzed, and I left my body, I guess. I was in space, like in a purple. This happened twice, and I got nervous, and I was taking Baba's name. And then what happens is I go out again, And there's Baba, there's Betty Loman, Marge, and a bunch of other people. And Baba is explaining the importance of what we're doing right now with these arties, that we are creating a circuit, a blanket to go around the planet. And the circuits, did I say already? Did you hear this? No?
You know, wait just a second.
And that
You're breaking up a little bit.
that
Michelle, you're breaking up. You might want to step in the house.
I'll go inside.
Yeah, because this is
Yeah,
beautiful.
I'll come inside. I'll go inside. Okay, so what happened? Now, I could say that, you know, I've had Baba in dreams before, but when I had the visitation, anyway, I'll go back to the dream. So this spine buzzing thing used to happen to me years ago, and I would go into an astral plane, and I was terrified where ghosts were. This time I went into space, and there's Baba and all these people, and he shows me this grid. It's like a golden light, and in each of the corners there was a circle, and there was a circle of light, but there was also like golden threads of light that created squares, and each individual was the circle in the corner, and we were all connected. We were all connected, and that we were creating this circuit of light to go around the planet. That's
Wow.
yeah. So that happened about. I had that dream in June, I think it was. Well, I could actually find a text because I think I texted somebody. Oh, I had this dream. Oh my gosh, the purple. And did I text you, Farish Day, and I showed you the purple
I
nebula?
think you shared it at Artie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, we should see if they can bring that up, right? Are the artists recorded?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
No, if you go, just look up purple nebula space picture, and there's a purple, that's what it looked like that I was going through. And it happened twice. And then the third time, then I was in this other space, and wherever I was, there was Baba explaining how important going to RT and doing this work is.
Yeah.
At this time. So
Yeah, beautiful.
pretty intense. Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Gee,
So
but
there
you know that's just from that ends at 10:30, and then we go off the rails.
Oh,
You know, something that to what Farish Day was saying, and we were talking about doing little things. The greatest thing that I received from the Mandali above everything else was they gave me a feeling of belonging. You know, that they were like my favorite aunts and uncles, and I belong. Not just me, all of us Westerners. And it's one of the greatest gifts we can give. And there's nothing, you know, what can I say? It's not something you go to college for. But giving people a feeling of belonging. By belonging to them, I knew I belonged to Baba. I didn't have any, you know, it cleared any problem I had with belonging. But if you want to belong, then extend belonging to others, and then the whole world eventually belongs to you.
Mm.
It really is. If you only belong to some people and not others, then you're going to find yourself in circumstances where you don't feel you belong. In other situations, you feel you belong. But if you extend belonging to everyone, that is what the Mandali did. Baba taught them that. Then the world belongs to you.
Indeed.
and then it's a lovely thing. Then there are no strangers. There's nothing outside of your care and attention.
It's just that, Jeff, we tend to take it so personally. You know, how do we avoid taking things so personally?
You mean like whether if I don't give you the feeling of belonging, then it hurts you.
Yeah.
Say, yeah. You got to push past that, and you make sure I belong. If you make sure I belong to you, you will belong. Then I will belong. You will belong to me. You know, Rumi said, if you want to be held, hold out your hand. You know, hold out your arms. You know, embrace someone else. If you want to be embraced, embrace somebody else. You know.
Yeah.
You just have to push past that. But you have to, you know, I think you have to extend it to everyone. Because if you don't extend it to certain people, then, like I say, you're going to be in a crowd that doesn't want you to belong to them.
Does it relate to give that phrase that someone once told me in the kitchen there in Myrtle Beach? When he heard I was going to get married to Adrian, he was like, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second over here? I've been married for 30 years. I'm going to tell you something." And he was like, "Number one, okay, give in to the love first." And I was like, "What?" I just didn't get it. But then as time went on, I realized that even the little arguments, or like the little things that I want to be right about, you know, if I give in to the love first, like really drop into that love, then the argument can really, I can help to just squash the, you know, because it'll keep going, you know, like I'm right, you're wrong.
Yeah.
It can keep going forever.
Yeah. Would you rather be right or happy? You know.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, you know, Baba's sign for marriage is two fists ground together.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see this. This is his sign for marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's this one time where I don't know if I could share this, but it's a personal story. It's not too personal, but I was dating this woman when I was maybe, I don't know, my early 18, 19, and she was getting all these calls, getting harassed by this gentleman who she used to date, and he wouldn't leave her alone. And I guess they lived in the same dormitory or something, and he's just like, "Hey, you still have all my books. I want all my books back." And she was like, "Just leave me alone. Go get your own, like, I don't care about your books." And at the time I had been training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I had been practicing on punching concrete and like training myself for a fight, you know, because I thought in my head I was going to be a big tough guy in my life or something. I don't know what. So this guy is calling, he's calling her, and he's like, you know, making a fuss. And finally he says, "Okay, just come to my corner of the dormitory and drop off the books, and I'll leave you alone." So I said, "Oh, well, I'm going to go with you. I'm not going to let you just go alone. You know, it's not safe the way he's sounding." So we go down there, and we turn the corner, and he's just standing out there, obviously, you know, waiting. And she drops the books off on the ground and says, "Okay, that's it. See you later." And so she walks away, and then I kind of look at him, and I'm like, "This is awkward." I was like, "All right," I kind of wave like that. He's like, "Oh, what's this? What's this waving thing?" And he just kind of loses it and starts screaming at me and just charging at me. And he comes up to my face really, really close and starts screaming at my face and saying, "All it takes is one hit. All it takes is one hit." And I don't know what it was, but I saw kind of my true character, because what happened was my heart opened. I got scared, I got angry, and then my heart just kind of broke open. And I remember just looking at him and realizing this is for nothing. You don't want to do this. Like, this is like, I just started feeling brotherly towards him, but really, like, I just started looking at him and feeling that way in my heart. And he kept yelling and he followed us out and he was screaming and people started throwing things from their windows like, shut up, it's late at night, what are you doing? And he was like, I'll kill you. He was just freaking out and following us all the way down the street. And finally, I just said, hey, listen, what is it that you need? And I said it in such a way that I kind of focused all of, not my fear, but all of that feeling of brotherliness in those words, in every single word that I said. And something happened where it pierced his heart because he looked at me, because I was looked right at him, right at his soul. And I said, what is it that you need? And I said it so calmly that he sort of was shaken and he was like, well, I don't know. I don't know. And then slowly I said, okay, well, and I just kept talking to him. And it got to the point where I said, brother, can I give you a hug? And he was like, and at this point he starts crying and he's like, I hate her and I just feel like so alone and I just feel like nobody cares. And I was like, I care. And we embraced. It was insane. We embraced and he was crying in my arms and then that was it. It was like, it just completely
Wow.
the scenario because I chose to give in to the love, even when I didn't know what that meant, or it was just an instinct, like,
Yeah.
we can't do, there's no more, we don't need any more war. It was just that was the thing. I was like, it was so, I could see in his eyes, he wanted to do the war thing. And I was like, how many times have I been to war? How many times have I seen what it does, my family and everybody, it's so many times. So I don't know. I think that reminded me when you were telling that. I don't know who was talking about this, but it just reminded me of that. That even in that instance of like extremity, like you can give into the love, and and it really It really works.
Beautiful.
We were talking about marriage, Alan.
Yeah, something about. No,
You
it's
said
something
extremity, and I thought, yeah, that's kind of it. We
we
were
were
talking
something
about
before
marriage.
that, before the marriage. There was something about I forgot.
About belonging.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I forgot.
No, but beautiful, beautiful thing. I mean, it's amazing how, I mean, we get eclipsed by Baba in these situations. We do something that is, we have it in us, but our sanskars would much rather do something else. And that love eclipses our usual behavior. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I mean, even before Baba, whether you know Baba or not, he's there. Wow. Yeah.
I'm still back at Farish's dream.
Yeah.
No, I think it was a great dream. I really do. Because it's like I see this picture and, well, Rano, for one thing, Baba ignored her so much. And finally she realized that Baba had to think about her so hard to ignore her to that extent. So he had to be that aware of her. But when I think about your dream, it's like no matter how you felt about whatever tasks you were given, you were still doing those tasks. And then here's Baba, and he's being really weird, but he's in a weird environment. He's dealing with politicians. Well, that's really strange. And that's a place you don't want to be anyway. So it's like, okay, so I'm looking at that picture. But then the other one I thought was, about the insects or whatever. What's really cool about that? It reminds me of Shireen when she died and these little golden hands came out of her nose. But anyway, here you had these things go in you, and what happened, but they were in you, but they got transformed, didn't they?
Yeah.
And so they came out and they're beautiful. They're these beautiful little beings that came out. So who knows? Only God knows. But isn't that cool?
Wow, Paula. Thank you.
No, I think that's just cool as anything. I think that was a great dream.
Paula to the rescue.
Oh my goodness. I just, yeah, it was so rich and so intense that I was like, what is going, Baba's working, obviously. He's working through our dreams too.
Yeah.
Right.
And intense time right now. So I was trying to pay attention to it, but I was like flabbergasted, like, what is it? Is it my ego? Is it my ambition to do big Baba work? Or what is this? Like, what is going on?
Probably
You
didn't matter.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
No, because you were doing what he gave you to do. And we don't always like what he's given us to do, and we don't have to, but we do it anyway. But I
Well,
like the
I
part about
love whatever he gives me to do. When
It's
it's Baba
11:30.
related, I am ecstatic. I'd rather do nothing but Baba.
Mhm.
Baba work. I did it for 10 years in Chicago, and I was like, it's the greatest gift he could have given. And even here now, he's like blessing me with his work. But what was that dream? I mean, it was like, I think he's like cleaning me, deep cleaning, like laundrying my garbage, or bringing up to my attention,
Yeah. But
Um,
remember the part about the insects, because that was the last part. And that's just, I mean, it's beautiful. It's like a transformation, something that you thought was just awful. And look, it turned out to be these beautiful little beings coming out of you. How cool.
It was cool.
Part
They
that
were
struck me
beautiful.
was that
They,
you were
they
saying,
had such pizzazz, and they were twirling and dancing with such joy. It was really beautiful. In the sink.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then they left. And they were away. They let go. One thing, remember, Don Stevens asked Baba that not here he was living the life of Riley as an oil executive. He was feeling really guilty. He told the story. I don't know if it was Chicago or at Myrtle Beach. And he Baba, Baba said, "Do you know what it was to get how it what it had to do to put you there?" Because he wanted to be a teacher or do some service work, and then he's like, no, you I put you there, you need to be there. So yeah. So
Yeah, he wanted to give up that position.
yeah.
And Bob, I mean, it was a very significant position that he had in the oil industry. Yeah.
I had a dream of Don, but before I ever show that, Fareshte, the part that struck me about your dream the most was the fact that you had that feeling of doubt. That was what struck me. That you felt like maybe Baba is not for me or something like that. That really stuck in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, that is so not like me at all.
Right.
And it shocked me to even have that thought cross my mind in a dream state. It's just, that was scary. In a way, my feeling was, this is the meaning of what Baba says, hold on to my Daman, because it's slippery. So how many people in his close circle wanted to go jump under a train or leave him, when Baba did what Baba used to do with them, kind of, I mean, if your soul anchor not turns on you, but just turns away, or, it's like, what do you have to hold on to? It's like, might as well leave.
Well, Baba told Erich one time, get out, leave. And then I think he told him to eat, SH, whatever. And he went in to go do that, literally, to stick his finger in the toilet and eat some. And right then Baba clapped and had him come back. But he was literally, he told Erich to go eat, and then he went over and he went to the thing and he was about to literally take a dollop, and he was that committed. But I mean, I can't imagine that kind of feeling of like Baba telling you, like, what kind of force of life would you feel to have the God man tell you to get out, that kind of anger, I don't even know. Or even if just rejection, or even just like, yeah, like your dream where he's just like kind of not really giving you I don't know, just that.
In a way, I kind of thought, remember I told you my other experience in Tehran where that tenant was telling me he's standing behind me?
Yeah.
And I thought, this is Baba's response to me, saying, huh, you think so?
I know really on a core level, I just know in the root of me, I know that sometimes I go along and I think I'm doing okay. And I think, you know what? Baba would get me.
Yeah.
He knows all the little tricks and he would get me. And so I just know he would.
Well, he knows us better than we could ever know ourselves because he knows our entire history, past, present, and future. We're stuck in this little blindfold thinking this is it. He has the whole story.
What is this story about Tehran? What happened Thursday?
Nothing. That story stays in last night.
Oh,
Okay, I'll tell again.
I was gonna say, what about your poem and the mean friend?
No, if I tell it
Don't
again,
do
Baba
me.
will come and punish me again tonight. So I better be quiet.
Well,
Oh,
the interesting thing is, that I saw that dream has a lot to do with belonging, not belonging.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
yeah.
but what it kind of shows to me, I'm not critically, that he drove you to a point where you were not going to let him belong to you.
Yeah, you got it. That's
You were
right.
going to go and maybe join some other group. In other words, so that brings up so you got to just forcefully, he belongs to you forever, and you know what I mean? And then he can't play that trick on you anymore.
I thought I had made that marriage with him. I thought I had.
Yeah.
But apparently it's not deep enough yet.
Well, Bao Kalchuri used to say, if you don't have any doubts about Baba, he will make sure you have doubts about him. He said, you think you got him completely. He will make sure, he will make you doubt him. It's
Wow.
just because it's part of the work.
Yeah.
In other words, he'll force you into a corner to doubt him and everything. And you got to come out of that corner not doubting him. Even though you have all the data for doubting him, you override your data and say, you belong to me and I belong to you.
That's kind of a psychological reaction too, that I've played a lot in my life that I had to grow through. Don't know if I'm done, but it's okay. I assume that you're going to reject me, so I'm going to get rid of you first. And it's sort of like a knee-jerk kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand.
Yeah. So it's just, it might just be on that level, something that's like a remnant or something.
Yeah, it's definitely deep excavation that he did, and sometimes it takes a while for it to all just kind of make sense. And the work to be done.
Well, Fareshte, was it a thought? I'm curious. Is it a thought that you had come across your mind, or was it for you a lived experience in your being where you're like, I feel doubt? Or was it more like, maybe I should just, it's a thought like more up here rather like just kind of a passing storm?
It was a passing storm. It was me just moping. Moping. Yeah, saying, okay, so like you don't care about me. I might as well just go somewhere else.
Right.
I'll show you.
I'll tell you an interesting experience that I had. I'd been with Baba for about 8 years. I didn't have any doubts about him. I was like, I felt, really solid with Baba. And I was in India. I was at the tomb, and it was actually, I don't think there was anybody on duty. It didn't seem like there was in my recollection, but I was there just kind of outside under the portico, and this voice came into my consciousness that said, "Are you willing to give all the rest of your lives in creation to Baba?"
Mm.
Whoa. So I mean, I thought, oh my God, we know that, all this happened, all this thinking took place in about 20 seconds. We know that, that Jesus was God and Muhammad and Buddha and, Krishna and everything like that. God, Bob is, I didn't think I had any doubts, but, he's so new. I think, God, wow. I'm being asked to go and put the rest of my lives in creation at his feet. But then the thought came to me, you've always, well, I thought, this is another thought I had. After 8 years, if I don't know that he is who he says he is another 20 years or 30 years going to really make any difference? I thought I knew.
Mm-hmm.
More time going to help me? So that thought crossed. Another thought was, I've always been a gambler. And love gambles.
Mm.
I actually don't know, but I am going to gamble. I'm going to go in there. And I'm going to put the rest of my lives down in creation, not just in creation, at Baba's feet. And I went in there with some trepidation. The moment my head touched the marble, bow! I did the right thing. Oh my God, it was an explosion. The moment I touched there, wow. It was an explosion.
Wow.
But it was like all this happened in, I would say the whole thing from beginning to end happened in 1 minute. But, and like I say, I don't know where the voice came from, but I knew that I was going to have to make a decision about that. And it's well worth it. I can guarantee you can give all the rest of your lives in creation to Baba without any worry. The explosion and everything was like a confirmation that I had, but that I'd done the right thing. But
Well, for me, I thought I'd already done that.
That's what I thought. Until that moment. But there's a line from Rumi where he says, gambling away the self is beyond every religion.
It's so sweet.
Gambling away the self.
So I am going to give us a
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Just a little nudge. It's 11:43.
I better go.
Oh, you're gonna go? You can stay till 5 too.
No, I better.
Are you at the center?
Yeah.
Would you please go and I don't know if the lagoon cabin is open. Even if you just go and just put your hands on it for all of us. Thank you.
Well,
Yes, please.
I can't really, unfortunately, I can't do that. I'm on duty here.
Oh, you're at the gateway.
Yeah, I have
All
to.
right, just put yourself there mentally for all of us.
Yeah.
We have Captain saying, wow.
Ferrister, are you going to tell the story? Quick.
Michelle.
Can you tell me the story?
Real quick.
Please.
Story. Tell me a story.
I was in Tehran visiting my dad's tenants, and the
How
woman,
long ago was this?
oh, years ago, before my parents died, or after, right after, or right around 2000. What year is this now?
20.
All right, so I would say 2006 maybe. So I'm there, and you know, whenever I went to Iran, I would always just be extra on fire for Baba. So I'm visiting Tehran, and I go into their home and for dinner, and she greets me. And this woman, I've seen her a few times. She's starting to warm up to Baba, and she was spiritual. So she greets me and says, "Oh yes, come on in. And you know, you always bring your Baba with you when you come." So I'm like, "Oh, that's good that she's feeling Baba through me. You know, thank you, Baba." You know, just kind of thinking to myself, "This is sweet." So at dinner table, she says, "Yeah, I'm telling you, you always bring your Baba with you. He's standing behind you."
Wow.
So it was a little bit psychic, I guess.
You really bring them.
And
bring
she
the
saw
whole-
Baba behind me. That's what she meant. And you know, so and my feeling was, my dream was Baba's response to that, saying, don't be so catty or sure about anything.
Mm,
Hold
that's
on.
a beautiful thing. Wow.
Got the whole incarnation with you in her place. Wow. No, he's beautiful. Well, I am going to go on to, so, you know, I wish you all the best luck in keeping it silent. I usually break it somehow, but occasionally I've made it through. But it's usually...
Captain is almost there, right? Captain. No,
Oh.
You're about midway there? I don't know. What time is it in India? Show of hands.
How many more hours?
It's only the morning for him.
Oh, yeah.
Wait.
Oh, he's got a whole day. I mean, it's about 10:30 or something in the morning.
Morning. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
9:30
a.m. All right.
It's 10:45 here or something, 10:46.
And Captain, don't worry about the Samadhi police and all that stuff. It's Baba is very busy preparing for the world to know about him.
Yeah.
We already know him. And now he's going to prepare, he's busy preparing the world for himself, you know. So we got to leave him alone at the Samadhi, like that dream said, and we got to find him here, which we are. So don't worry about it.
He says not worried
Good.
in the chat.
That's awesome.
But he's trembling, but that's all right. Yeah. See you guys. Love. See you, Prakash.
Yeah, Baba.
Arti, Avatar, Meher Baba, TJ.
TJ. Avatar, Mer Baba Ki Jai. Avatar, Mer Baba Ki Jai. There's
Happy
Baba.
Silence Day all.
Yeah.
Jai Baba.
Happy Silence Day.
Happy Silence Day.
Have a great Silence Day.
Amen.
May it
Thank
help the
you.
planet.
Beautiful night.
Jai
Thank you for
Baba.
sharing your dreams. Amazing, amazing. Jai Baba.
Jai
The
Baba.
tavern,
Jai
guys.
Baba.
Beautiful.
The tavern is
Hey, wait a minute. What's happening tomorrow with Arti?
Bye.
It will be a pre-recorded RT only, no singing, obviously. Just a film, but we have programs all day long, so pop in whenever you want. And I will be showing I Am the Only Reality. Oh, I love that. It's a good movie.
Baba film?
Buzz in.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
Bob Fredericks has a new film that's being released tomorrow on Oklahoma. Yeah, if you
Ooh,
go
good
on
to
YouTube,
know.
Oklahoma.
All right.
Bob Fredericks.
Yeah.
I saw it was announced because I follow his YouTube channel.
Great.
It's something also sing or I can't remember. I can look maybe. Let's see. I'll tell you the name of it in a second.
Can you guys see my creature
Yeah,
here?
it's Names of Love. I'm sorry, on that also. Names of Love, full version. Oh, it's out now.
Oh, wonderful.
Flames of
Yeah.
Love. Okay.
Okay, we'll talk to
Yeah,
you.
it's already out.
Talk to you guys.
Okay, good night. Jai
Good night,
Baba.
everyone.
Jai
Jai
Baba.
Meher Baba.
Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Thursday, you know, I get things stuck in my head. So, I think, see, last week I was telling Baba I was being a brat because I was being a brat. And I don't, even if you were catty, I think what he's telling you is he's behind you no matter what.
Oh,
Always there.
well, you know, he
Even
has-
when we're a brat.
oh. Thank you, Paula. You're just the sweetest. You know that?
Jai
Love you.
Baba.
Jai Meher Baba.
See you
Bye,
next
Alan.
time.
Have a good night, honey. I mean, whatever. You're still, night is young.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired. I might.
Yeah.
go
Take
to
care.
bed.
Have a great day tomorrow.
Baba.
You
Jai
too.
Baba.
Good night.